Hi, my name is Simon, and together with my wife Kathy and our two dogs Coco and Wally, we continuously cruise the waterways of the UK. Today we are leaving Stanley Ferry, moving towards Kings Road Lock. On the way we have a insert of some of the aqueducts that we travel over, and also we watch a commercial boat being loaded at the quarry. Enjoy! The sky ahead is looking quite dark. Rain is forecast from 10 o'clock. Currently it's 7:30. We'll cruise down on Tickover. 8 o'clock is the preferred time for engine start and things like that on the canal, although you can travel 24/7, so just show some consideration and not wake them as what is sleeping in. This end of the moorings on this side of the canal is normal 14-day moorings. A little bit further down it becomes leisure moorings, C&RT managed leisure moorings, where people pay for the stay, annual fee. Dogs had a haircut over the weekend, so they were looking trim. Now of course the weather has gone from 28 degrees to probably only a high of 17 today, so now I feel like winter has returned. On the left hand side of the canal we're coming up to the free moorings, which are here for a short space. This is normally where we moor up. Already the towpath doesn't go through the end here, so foot traffic is a lot less, a lot quieter. People still come down here and scramble up the embankment, but from this point going behind us, the towpath and canal bank collapsed. Must have been quite a few years ago now, and they've never reinstated it. I guess the cost versus return wasn't worth it. I'd say quite a nice morning down the left hand side here. Some very nice walking areas around here as well. You can walk through the woods on the right hand side. Quite a few trails in there. Nice on a hot day because it's in the shade. You can go down to the River Aire and see the weir. There's also some flashes in there as well, which I see some of the local people use as swimming beaches. Here we have a boat that didn't survive being abandoned. It was floating last year when we were here. Now it's below the waterline. Not sure who will come and get it out. The white boom around it is a anti-pollution boom, so if it leaks oil or anything, it's caught up. Here we're coming up to the end of the free moorings. From here on there are also paid moorings on this side, C&RT leisure moorings. And just here is a water point. We won't be stopping at this water point, we're going to continue to the next one because it's closer to the Elsang. Sun's trying to break through, but the head's looking a lot darker than here. Tomorrow I see we are forecast thunderstorms.
Donna Via.
You can't.
It was Murphy's Law, they have their hair cut and suddenly it's winter again. Eh? It's looking pretty bleak, isn't he? Hey Wally, why are you shaking? Shaking and a shivering. Oh well, you can come off the roof in a mo. Lovely Dutch barge coming up on our left hand side. Built in the early 1900s. Brought across here from Holland. Just for sale at the moment. Lovely condition. Here we are, starting off on the water point, in towards the bridge. Weather's catching up with us. And here behind we have Mama Duck with her very, very new babies. See quite a lot of them in this area. Saw a goose earlier for the first time with an offspring, a youngster. Only one. Oh dear. Oh. We've got some problems getting the bridge open. Oh, wonderful. Go back to the land to try and help her out. Oopsie, let's sing the swans a bit. Oh, not a happy dog. Right, let's carry on going through the bridge. Morning. Oh yeah, hot water bottle, all done and dusted. Right, off we go. Well, only cyclists wanting to come through, but just have to wait. Maybe these people will help the missus. See if we can pick up without having to go into the landing. Dog gets upset. Okay. Try a reverse. And your stern back in. You have to just step on. Just going to see what's available down at Kings Road. There's a continuation on the right hand side of the C&RT moorings, and then on the left you've got I think they're 24-hour moorings. Problem is all along here is there's a ledge at the bottom. It tends to hurt your hull. People like these moorings because they're close to the pub. No, they're actually 2-day moorings, so 48 hours. Ramsden Bridge visitor moorings. A bit confusing. On one side it says Stanley Ferry, on the other side it says Ramsden Bridge. Okay. On the left is the Hungry Horse franchise pub. I had a meal there once. That's probably all I say on the subject. Here we come over the split viaduct. Fireboat on the right hand side. These are still leisure moorings all the way around here. I did do an insert yesterday of the basin that we're coming into and these viaducts. So I will insert it into the video. Here we go, lovely. And you see what's going on. Here we are at Stanley Ferry. This is Stanley Ferry's marina. There's a pub here, very big pub, entertainment centre. Very old buildings. Yeah. And then we come around to the aqueducts over the River Aire. There's one on that side. It's more used for moorings than anything else, I think. And then we have a second one here. And then we have a bridge all over the river, which for the moment very quiet and subdued. Not a lot happening down here. A few ducks. Over on that side is also the Stanley Ferry C&RT offices and workshop. The workshop builds lock gates for a large amount of the canal system. A full-size workshop there. I think a lot of the older regional offices, workshops and everything are getting amalgamated into one. See the arch structure of that aqueduct. It even has columns underneath. Very interesting design. Aqueduct from a little bit further on, and we pan around onto the workshop, undercover, dry docks, storage yard. When they've made the gates and assembled them, they leave them soaking in water so the wood swells and all the joints seal up. This basin here is where the aggregate boats come and turn around. Boats used to moor here, but now they've put up no mooring signs, clearly indicating that the space is needed for the aggregate boats. These are the finished gates that are being soaked, and from here they're either loaded on lorries or boats and delivered around the network to repair the locks. Shortly we're going to pass the quarry where the aggregate boats load. They run 2 trips a day. I also managed to get an insert of one of the boats loading, so I'll put that in. And as we're continuing down the canals to where they offload, in a later video, I'll show the section where they finish off and unload. See, coming up on our left hand side there's a conveyor hanging out over the water, and then there's an old barge that's tied up to use as a wharf. The water is too shallow at the edge of the canal to be able to bring the boat up against the side. Just when it loads, it drops down probably a metre into the water, so you might get in there when it's empty, but after you've loaded it, you suddenly find out, hell, we're going nowhere. The wind is starting to pick up a bit now. I have to be careful the camera does not donate itself to science. Close up of the situation. I'll go into more detail when I show the boat loading. There's a variety of aggregates in here, from a fine sand, fairly small stone, maybe only in the 6mm range, but quite a variety.
This insert was recorded the day before we left. I was walking back from the lock and realised that they'd started to load the commercial. It's moored against a secondary barge which is just used as a platform, because if they load up against the bank, the shape of the canal would mean that as they loaded the boat, it would actually sink down onto the bottom of the canal and wouldn't be able to move. So by moving it slightly away from the shore, they can load it fully. You can see how high out the water it is currently, and as the loading progresses and is finished, it sinks down quite low into the water. They don't have much freeboard, these boats, because there's not much in the way of waves or anything they have to worry about, so they make full use of their capacity. These marks here, the draft marks, what indicate how full the boat is, and the captain of the boat will keep his eye on those and give him an indication of how much he's carrying, although there is a weightometer on the belt of the feed conveyor that's loading the boat, and that is how he knows whether he's within the parameters of his load or not. The material is stockpiled and is brought in by these front end loaders. Loaded slowly into the hopper so you don't overload the belt. If you watch closely here, you can see the draft marks have dropped down significantly. Closer view of the loader doing its job. The conveyor is hydraulically raised and lowered. And I believe when it's fully loaded, this boat will have about 150 tons on it today. The engine is kept ticking over in gear, so that as the sand loads, he can slowly edge the boat forward on the ropes, so the load is spread out to his satisfaction. But now you see how low the boat is getting into the water, and I think he's just about at the loading point. His propeller is still turning over. Here he is. He's just going to let the boat ease forward a little bit further. And he comes down here. Having a look in the hold. And we'll probably signal them how many more buckets he wants to go into the boat. Two loads a day go from here through to Lemonroyd, so you're looking at 300 tons plus. I'm not sure what the other boat carried. Similar amount, I'm guessing. So that's a few lorries saved. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, Wells on Water. Click the like button and make comments. Till next time, goodbye.